I make almost twice the federal minimum wage, and I am still thousands of dollars below the poverty line. I am homeless. I live in my car. I cannot afford to rent an apartment.
This is the first month I won't be able to afford rent. I'm not a rich person. I don't have a lot of stuff. I have basic household necessities.
My rent just went from $1,360 to $3,900 a month.
My rent is going up an extra $800 a month. So my little one-bedroom place is about to be over $2,000 a month.
You know, you hear stuff like this, and it sticks with you. These aren't people sitting on the couch eating Cheetos all day. They're out there working, grinding, doing all the right things, and still can't afford four walls and a roof. Make it make sense, right? My name's Glenn. I run on strong coffee and stronger opinions about money. Let's get into it. Now, I want you to really listen to this first one, because it's not just about one person's struggle. It's about a broken math problem that every American's been handed, and no one in power seems interested in fixing.
So it has been confirmed that there is no state in the United States where you could work a 40-hour minimum wage work week to afford a 2-bedroom apartment. And my thing is, if y'all know that shit, why the fuck y'all don't do something about that shit? Do y'all want to see us in poverty? Is that the goal, to see us, the people, in poverty? I thought we was working to make America again. And working to make America again is raising minimum wage. Simply just raising minimum wage. Making sure that the cost of living is not too high. Groceries are not expensive to the point where you can't afford them. Just simply making sure that goods and supplies are affordable.
This is the first month I won't be able to afford rent. I'm not a rich person. I don't have a lot of stuff. I have basic household necessities: a couch, a bed, washer, a dryer. That's about it. A car. I don't have a lot of lavish things. I don't go on vacations, and I don't spend a lot. Rent's increased from $1,300 to $1,800. The food prices are too high. I've cut back on eating because I literally cannot afford food. I've cut back on my favorite snacks, cat food, treats. I'm exhausted all the time.
Two different people, same story. Work full time, still can't afford to live. One points out there's no state where minimum wage gets you a 2-bedroom. The other's hit with a $500 rent hike for the exact same apartment. And both cutting back on food, pet supplies, even toilet paper. That's not budgeting. That's survival. These aren't people living large, no vacations, no splurges, just trying to keep a roof over their head without drowning in bills. Yet we're told to save for a rainy day while it's been pouring for years. Problem isn't work ethic, it's the math. And until the math changes, stories like this aren't going anywhere.
I make almost twice the federal minimum wage, and I am still thousands of dollars below the poverty line. I am homeless. I live in my car. I cannot afford to rent an apartment. I can hardly afford to live in my car. Food is expensive, and it's tough times, you know? I work 40 hours a week. I am not in an entry-level position. I am in a skilled position. I make twice the federal minimum wage, and I am poor.
Rent for my New York City apartment went up by $1,000 a month. That's what's going on over here. So let me take you back to 2021, where I moved into this apartment with an 18-month lease. It was a 4-bedroom apartment in Harlem, New York. Reasonable rate, and I had a roommate, and it was working out. So it was myself plus my kids, and I had a roommate, and they had a partner. So I was like, okay, cool. I had we split the space down the middle, and it was cool. Like, it worked out for all of the parties involved. And so my stupid ring light just died, whatever. But it was working out for all of us, and it was cool. Then at the 18 month, when 18 months was over, the rent renewal was for an additional $100 a month. All right, cool. $100 a month. We split that down the middle, no problem. Then came the second rent renewal. So now we're 2.5 years in. So the first lease was 18 months, the second lease was a year. So we're about 2.5 years in. And this rent renewal, they said, hey, your rent is going to go up by $1,000 a month. And they told me this 45 days before the rent was supposed to be renewed.
But would you look at that? Rental apartments are sitting empty for months. Could it be that rent prices are completely outrageous and out of control? Could it be that the average cost of rent is like $3,000 for a one bedroom? Could it be that these apartment prices are costing people 50 to 60% of their salary, if not more? I truly don't get what the fuck the United States is trying to accomplish. They're building more and more apartment complexes, yet a lot of them are empty. A, why are these politicians allowing these greedy ass developers to buy land and build apartment complexes knowing people can't afford them? Or B, these apartment complex projects just another way for these big ass corporations to money launder.
My rent just went from $1,360 to $3,900 a month.
So let's just pause and really sit with what we just heard. We've got a man making above the federal minimum wage, still homeless, which tells you right away the old idea of just get a job and you'll be fine is officially dead. Wages aren't keeping pace with the actual cost of existing. You can be working, earning more than the lowest legal rate, and still be priced out of a bed to sleep in. Then there's a rent jump of $1,000. That's not a small adjustment. That's a financial earthquake. It wipes out any sense of stability you've built, and it's happening because in many places, rent control is non-existent or so weak it might as well not exist. Landlords can raise prices faster than you can renegotiate your salary, and they know it. And finally, $1,360 to $3,900. Same walls, same neighborhood, same everything. Except the new price tag could cover a mortgage in half the country. That's not a market adjusting, that's a market exploiting. And here's the hard truth. As long as housing is treated purely as an investment vehicle rather than a human necessity, this is exactly where the numbers will keep going. If there's one thing to take away from these stories, it's this. The housing crisis isn't just about rent being too high. It's about the gap, the widening chasm between what people earn and what it costs to simply exist. And until policy catches up to that reality, more working Americans will find themselves living one rent hike away from losing everything.
Oh, because fuck you, America, for making me pay, or for making me work 4 fucking jobs, 4 jobs, while I'm in college in rural fucking Tennessee, and I can barely pay my own fucking rent, and I'm taking 19 credit hours on top of those 4 fucking jobs.
Girls, I am tired. So tired. If it wasn't for these 2 little humans that call me mom, I wouldn't be here. I am literally fighting every single day.
I am homeless living here in my car because, well, rent is now over $1,800 per month, and our government gives all of the resources to everybody but American citizens. I've tried to get Section 8 housing. The wait lists are years long now, sometimes as long as 18 years. So this is where I live.
Y'all not understand how fucked up America gotta be for you to work hard and still have no fucking where to go? It's just like, oh my gosh, when is it all going to end? Like, y'all, it's so bad to the point where even though you work, you more than likely can't even eat every day. Not even 3 times a day. Me, none. Yet they expect us to keep working with a smile on our face. Fuck all of that. I be seeing why people don't fucking want to work. They pay us a little bit of money, but make everything fucking expensive. I'll be damned if I'm putting my life on the line for $14, $15. And then the whole time, your ass can get hurt or die at the fucking job you're at. So now you done fucking wasted your whole life being a hard worker to a company that don't give a fuck about what you got going on, don't give a fuck that you don't have nowhere to go, just don't give a good goddamn. And certain people will never understand the frustration. You guys will never understand unless you're going through it.
Watching people break down like this, it's more than sad. It's a reality check. Life wouldn't have to be this hard if wages moved with the cost of living. But they don't. And here's the cruel twist. The same system that claims to work for its citizens is quietly grinding them down. We talk about mental health like it's separate from economics. But try keeping your mind at peace when you don't know if you'll have a roof over your head next month. Add kids, responsibilities, people counting on you, and you're already stretched thin. So you push harder, work yourself to the bone, until one day you realize it's not just your bank account that's empty. It's you.
These are 8 cities where at least half of millennials can't afford rent for a 1-bedroom apartment. In San Jose, you need to make $106,000 to afford a 1-bedroom. But the average millennial is making under $70K a year. Other cities on the list include Miami, Los Angeles, and New York.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but this generation of young adults has it 10 times worse than us. I have a 24-year-old, and we have started the apartment/home buying process. And baby, I remember my very first apartment was $650 plus electric. That's it. Most application fees was like $20, $25. And all these requirements they got now, like you got to make 3-4 times the monthly rent. Like, we ain't had to deal with none of that. Back then, they just looked at your pay stub and needed to know that the amount of rent was on your pay stub. So therefore, you can afford it. And don't get it twisted. The way this generation is struggling financially, we had that same struggle. Cost of living was cheap, but we also didn't make no money. When we got our apartments, whatever was at that apartment was free because we paid our rent. Gym, free. Pool, free. Community room, free. Playgrounds, free. This shit crazy. It's crazy.
How do you guys do it? How do you survive? I'm apartment shopping. I'm looking for a place to live, and it's so out of my reach. I work 2 jobs from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and then from 4 p.m. till 11:30 p.m. I literally run to my second job just to be on time, and I still can't afford living in California. Like, I just can't. I know some of you guys have roommates. I can't do that because I take care of my mom, So it's awkward. It's not everybody's willing to share a house with an elderly woman, So how? I feel like a single parent. Like, I'm apartment shopping. I've even considered renting a room. And just to give you a perspective, a room here in Thousand Oaks, where I live in Ventura County, is going for $1,200 a room, 1 room. God forbid I look for a studio, and it's like they want $1,600 for a little tiny studio, and they want you to make 3 times the amount of rent. Perfect credit. God forbid I look for a 2-bedroom or even a 1-bedroom apartment. 1-bedroom apartment goes for $2,300 in my area. A 2-bedroom apartment goes for $3,200. How? How do you guys survive? Jesus Christ. When did fucking living become a luxury? Like, how? Let me know. Like, 'cause I've even considered moving to Nevada. I considered moving to other states where rent is cheaper. But if you think about it, the minimum wage is a lot lower, which would only take me to a new city with no friends, like nowhere, like a whole new city, and then still be making minimum wage and still be in the same position, just with a different salary. I'm losing hope.
Living in America is so expensive that it's not even living anymore. It's just a recurring subscription. You pay to live, you pay to work, you pay to eat, you pay to sleep. Rent, more than half your income. Groceries, doubled within a year. Gas, insurance, bills, taxes. Damn near make money just to give it away. You're not living the dream. You're financing your own exhaustion. And their solution is budget better. Like you're out here buying Ferraris and filet mignon every single day. When in all reality, you're broke just buying basic needs. And here's the kicker. You do everything right. You go to school, you get the job, you play by the rules, and you're still barely hanging on. It's not your fault. The system was built by design. They want you broke, distracted, and grateful for crumbs because a stressed, tired population doesn't rebel.
You see, the truth hurts. And the truth, as the man on the previous video said, is that the system is designed to oppress its people. Somewhere along the way, housing stopped being a basic need and became a profit machine. Your apartment isn't just your home, it's a commodity in someone's investment portfolio. In the last decade, companies like Blackstone, Invitation Homes, and other big private equity firms have been buying up single-family homes and entire apartment complexes. They're not just collecting rent, they're setting rent. And spoiler, they don't set it based on what people can afford. They set it based on what squeezes the most profit without causing mass evictions all at once. And then we've got the Airbnb-ification of housing. Investors buy up properties not to house locals, but to rent to tourists at triple the rate. Great for the weekend traveler, terrible for the person who's lived in that neighborhood their whole life. And in case you're thinking we just build more affordable housing, meet our old friend, restrictive zoning laws. In many cities, entire neighborhoods are zoned only for single-family homes, making it illegal to build higher density housing that could bring costs down. And guess who lobbies to keep it that way? The same people who don't want their property values disrupted.
And you know what's crazy? They make it difficult on a county level for you to find cheaper housing. Because for me, I would like to put a tiny home or a container home on a few acres of land. But see how they have these residential zones set up? Sometimes the house has to be so many square feet that's built on the property. So they make it hard for you to even do shit that you can't afford in the first fucking place. What if I don't want to spend $400,000 on a half-built house? And listen, I follow a bunch of home inspectors. You can't get me to buy shit new. And that's on me. But they make it difficult for people to do things so they can stretch their money more by having all these stupid ass regulations and laws. It's like, if I have land in your county, I'm going to be paying y'all property taxes. So what do it matter if I got a tiny home on there as opposed to a 2,500 square home foot? Like, shit just crazy, yo. And it really be blowing me.
In many places, there's no rent control at all. That's how you get a $1,360 apartment suddenly going for $3,900. Same walls, same leaky faucet, same landlord who still hasn't fixed the mailbox. In some states, landlords can give you 30 days to vacate without cause. Combine that with a rent hike and it's legal eviction in disguise. We even give tax breaks to people who keep property vacant because the value of the building itself can rise faster than any rental income would bring in. Let that sink in. We're rewarding people for not housing anyone.
The United States has become extremely unsustainable. It's time that we have this conversation. I know that we're not all out here surviving and thriving like we portray on the internet. You go in the grocery store, you go grab a couple of items, it's $100. Rent across the United States is all the same. I remember when you used to be able to look at like cities, like big metropolitan cities, even like medium metropolitan cities, and they would have a different rate than, say smaller cities. Now, I can talk to someone that lives in Kansas and someone that lives in Oklahoma, and I live in Atlanta, and they're paying anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000. There's no reason why someone that lives in the middle of Kansas should be paying the same price that we pay in a metro city. It's exhausting. Like, did y'all see that Klarna just reported that they are like losing money because people are not paying their Klarna bills? That credit card debt is super high. That's because everybody's robbing Peter to pay Paul just to afford the necessities like food. God forbid that you want to just keep yourself up. Like, we're not talking anything super expensive. We're just talking like keeping your hair cut or getting your nails done, getting your toes done, maybe picking a nice style once a month for your hair. You can't afford those things as much anymore. You gotta start doing self-care at home. And if you go make more money, you're still not seeing the money. Let's discuss in the comments because it's getting a little crazy out here.
It sucks, but people are really drowning right now. Looking at the comments for my video about rent prices was like honestly depressing. It's so many people out there that are in these situations, these circumstances where they can't afford their rent. Like some of the prices that people were saying for the square footage that they were getting is insane. And I think this tells us one thing, that a lot of people are struggling financially. And let this be a reminder that you should take what you see on social media with a grain of salt. Somebody just got a new car, they, going on vacations. It's not to say that people can't afford to do these things right now, but just take it with a grain of salt, because most likely they're struggling, they're drowning too. I've even seen people comment down below saying like, oh, should we still be paying 50-50? Should it be the man 100%? And hey, I may tell you a joke, but I never tell you a lie, man. Two incomes is more than one, especially during these times. Comment down below what your rent prices are in your city, because people need to see that this is all over. It's not just where you're at.
I have 3 bills this month that I have absolutely no idea how I'm going to pay. One of them is my rent, which just went up this past year because I had to sign a new lease. And I had to sign a new lease because I wasn't able to find somewhere else to live that was affordable. Also, my hours just got cut on my job. Yeah, my job, they just cut my hours. No explanation. They just did it. And I already wasn't getting a ton of hours before anyway. Also, this is the 4th job that I've had within the past 7 or 8 months. Because every job that I worked before this has screwed me over in some way, to the point where I had to find something else quickly. And I'm probably going to be in that situation yet again with this job. And I'm not even one to do that. I'm usually pretty loyal. When it comes to jobs, like, I will stick around for a while. And I know that everybody's struggling right now. I'm aware of that. Trust me. We don't have to do the struggle Olympics in the comments, okay? I got it. I know. But this is just me being vulnerable about me struggling, because I'm not good at that. I'm just wondering when the ass kicking of life is gonna stop. Like, does it ever slow down even a little bit? Like, do we ever get a break? Or do the hands just keep coming? Like, do the haymakers just keep, I don't know. I'm just tired. I'm just tired, y'all. And I know I'm not the only one. Everybody's tired. We're all tired. And I'm just making this video to say that it's okay to admit that you're tired. It's okay to admit that you need help. It's okay to admit that all of this sucks and it shouldn't be that way. All right.
I made 10 DoorDashes in the last 2 hours. And guess how much I made? Guess. After gas, I made a whopping $24.76. Not even a full $25. Like, I can't even get my own food DoorDashed for $25. Okay? When I moved to Cali from Texas last year, I really thought that I was going to be living my California dream. I got my full-time job. I got health insurance, benefits, all of that stuff. All of the things that I thought that I needed to live a comfortable life. And it just feels like I can never make ends meet. Like, I'm literally clocking into my 5 to 9 after my 9 to 5. Hold on, girl. I got to order. And I'm just so frustrated because I feel like I've done everything right. Like, I went to school, I got my degree, I got a job, but like with rent and bills and student loans and groceries and gas, like, it just feels like I just cannot get ahead. And it's like these billionaires who have never had to lug 5 Big Mac meals with drinks up 3 flights of stairs. It feels like they are making money hand over fist. Something has got to give, and I feel like it needs to be them, because I'm tired. All right, the billionaires need to start opening their pocketbooks, because I can't afford to keep on opening mine.
The American dream was never supposed to be about survival mode. It was about building a life, building security. But the way our housing system is structured, the dream is slipping further out of reach for people who are doing everything, quote, right. And until we treat housing as a human right instead of a speculative asset, this cycle is going to keep repeating. I want to hear from you. Are you seeing this in your city? Have you had a rent hike that forced you out? Drop your story in the comments. Because until we start talking about this loudly, the only voices shaping the housing market will be the ones making money off your rent check. All right, I think that's enough stress for one video. My blood pressure's up, my coffee's cold, and my landlord's probably about to raise my rent just for filming this. But hey, that's the life of Glenn. Drink coffee, talk money, point out how the system's robbing us, and somehow still get up tomorrow to do it again. I'll see you in the next one, hopefully before my caffeine wears off and I start crying into my mug.